Okay guys, very quickly on the number of cues you have to keep in mind while squatting with the barbell or especially in your standard back squat. So before this, if you're a beginner and you haven't assessed your body weight squat, you have to first assess that, check where your restrictions are in terms of your ankles, your hips, your knees, your upper back. There is a 3-way squat test that I will link below. Check that out. If that is okay, then you have the right to touch the barbell. So once you have the right to do that, the typical squat should look like this from the front view, and from the side view it should look like this or this. There are different stances that people take. Some people who are power lifters, they take a wider stance which somewhat looks like this. It's a wider stance, so their side squat would be somewhat like this, where the knees and the upper thigh, the lower and the upper leg are almost perpendicular, while the Olympic style high bar squat should somewhat look like this, where there is an angle, almost an equal angle here. So from the front, if you see, usually people with good mobility in the ankles and the hips can go down, but of course there is no written rule about the depth of the squat. It should be parallel or below. It should not be above parallel. If it's above parallel, that means there are some restrictions and you have to address those. To start with the cue, yes, there is a barbell. Imagine there is a barbell with the weight on. Now how do you approach the bar? That is very important. So step one would be to take a deep breath, diaphragmatic breath, 2/3 from the belly, 1/3 from the chest, and exhale fully. Now from exhaling fully, you will neutralize the spine. You will align the pelvis and the diaphragm together, and you will be in a neutral position to lift the weight. Now once that is done, you grab the bar as tight as possible. Now what the grip width should be, the hand stance should be, is totally dependent upon your stature. If you are a wider person, it should be wider. If you are if you have a narrow stature, then you could have a narrower stance. But the stance should not be loose. If you are grabbing the bar, it should be tight. Your back should be locked in. It should not be very loose. If it's loose, when the weight gets heavier, your tension is lost. Okay, so you're gonna leak energy from there. So to approach the bar, you're grabbing it very tight. Now here, because of irradiation, you're grabbing it tight from here. All that neurons firing would fire your upper back, from your arms to back, your shoulders, and everything is fired. From there, you lat pull down. You literally go down and lat pull the bar like this. Now this way, you're locking in your lats, your wings, and you've locked the bar behind your back. So this way, to stay tight, you're grabbing it very tight here. Irradiation happens. And you're lat pulling it down. So what you're doing essentially is you are tightening the upper back. The lats, the upper back, the hands, you're tightening the upper body in general. Squat is the king of the lifts, and to perform a heavy squat, you have to have total body tension because it works the total body. So the first 50% is locked in. Now you unrack the bar, and this is where you are. Now, since the upper body is roughly locked in, the upper back, the arms, the shoulders are locked in, you have to lock in the core, the abdomen region, the pelvis, the diaphragm, from a deep diaphragmatic breath and then isometric holding that breath, which is called the core brace. So some people use belts for that. Some people, for sub-maximal weights, don't use a belt, which is fine, because if you have practice of that 360-degree core brace, it should not be a problem without the belt. But if you are a beginner in the back squat, please use a belt. Not because your spine cannot take it, because you have to learn how to brace. I had the same problem, and later I found out with the belt that I'm only bracing half, only from the front, or somewhat from the side, not from the back. You have to brace 360 degrees to really, protect the spine all along. From this position, now you're ready to go down. You've locked in all this region. You've locked all this region now. You're ready to go down and perform the squat. Now a simple cue to go down is hips back, knees out. Simple. While you're going down, you don't have to imagine that you're going down with your knees. Unless you're a very tall person, then the cues are very different. If you're a normal heighted person, then hips back, knees out is your cue. So hips back, you have to sit back. And while sitting back, you have to flare your knees out, as in imagining you are tearing the floor apart. So that way you are creating tension across your hips, your glutes, the external rotators of your glutes. So it somewhat looks like this from the front. Hips are going back from here, and the knees are going out, and you're tearing the floor apart like this. So this way, there is going to be a point where you're totally tight, and you further cannot go down. Cannot go down further, and then from there you have to spring it up. So this way you're loading on your hamstrings, your glutes, your entire body is loading, and then boom, there's a spring effect that goes along with it. So that is why it is very important to practice the squat with the box. Do box squats, because sitting back on the box, it will teach you to sit back on the box with the knees flared out. You sit back and then boom, spring up. Okay, so to summarize, you have, just rub it off. Here's a summary. Exhale, neutralize the pelvis and the diaphragm. Lat pull down the bar. Alright. Exhale and grip tight. Irradiation. Lat pull down the bar. Then we have core brace. Then we have hips back, knees out. So that is how generally you're going to back squat. The one thing that I want to add here is during that unracking position of yours, once you've lat pulled the bar down and you're in that unracking position, you have to brace the core there, right? So there is core brace 1. So typically there are 2 core braces. One is when you are unracking the bar and because you're placing a heavy load on your back, so you have to have that brace on, right? So because you have that brace on, you're able to do it pretty efficiently. Otherwise, if you're loose from the core, then there might be energy leaks. Add to that, never go into a unilateral stance and then unrack the bar. Always get fully down under the bar and then partially squat it. Don't split squat it. Okay, because then you're going to be in a very unnatural position, maybe in a very unilateral sort of a position when you're gonna unrack and gonna go back. So that is not really recommended, especially with heavier weights. So you have to be under control all the time. Now once that is unracked, now some people just go wobbly. You don't have to do that. Take one step, take the second step, and you're ready to go. Okay, so place your own position in the rack or wherever you're squatting, in the monolift or in the half squat rack, in such a way that as soon as you unrack the bar, there are only 1 and 2 steps that you take. At post which there is going to be core brace 2 that happens when the bar is on your back and you're ready to go down. That is the second core brace. Because when you're bracing the first time here, and then you're taking a couple of steps back, you're not going to hold your air all the time. There has to be another exhale and another inhale. So or maybe 2 or 3 exhales or inhales. It depends. So the first brace is a minor brace to unrack the bar because it's a partial squat. The second brace is the final brace to go down and then come back up. Right? So post that, it is hips back and knees up.